Have you ever wondered if your family really sees everything you do for them? The first rays of morning light filter through the tall pines lining Oak Ridge Drive, casting dappled shadows across the Ellison family's quiet, two-story home. It's 6:12 a.m. The air outside is crisp, tinged with the scent of rain from the night before. Inside, the kitchen is already alive, a silent stage for the daily ballet of a woman who believes in the power of unseen effort. Marina Ellison stands over the stove, her hands moving in practiced rhythm. She flips pancakes with one hand while stirring oatmeal with the other, her eyes darting to the digital clock on the microwave. Her face, gentle, framed by loose strands of chestnut hair, shows a trace of fatigue, but also determination. The kitchen is warm, filled with the soft hiss of the coffee maker and the clatter of pans. On the counter, lunchboxes wait in a neat row, every sandwich cut precisely the way her kids prefer. A backpack sits by the door, half-zipped, textbooks peeking out. Marina glances at it, sighs, and slips a forgotten homework sheet inside. She wipes her hands on her apron and crosses the tile floor to the living room, where a pair of muddy sneakers are abandoned near the sofa. She gathers them, setting them by the shoe rack, and straightens a stack of mail. Each detail a silent declaration of care. Upstairs, footsteps pound. Leo, her 12-year-old, barrels down wearing a hoodie and mismatched socks, hair still sticking up from sleep. He's glued to a tablet, already laughing at a video, barely glancing up as he grabs a banana from the bowl Marina has set out. She smiles at him, her voice soft but bright. "Morning, Leo. Did you finish your math homework?" "Uh-huh," he mutters, not looking up, fingers tapping furiously on the screen. He disappears into the dining room, the tablet's volume echoing TikTok sounds. Behind him, Cassidy descends with slow, measured steps. At 15, she's taller than Marina remembers, her expression a careful mask of teenage detachment. Earbuds in, she scrolls through her phone, barely making eye contact as she mumbles a greeting. "Morning, Cass. Waffles or oatmeal today?" Marina asks, hoping for a smile. Cassidy shrugs, not removing her earbuds, and heads straight for the fridge. She pours orange juice, avoiding her mother's gaze. From upstairs, Gavin's muffled voice carries over the railing. "Marina, have you seen my blue tie?" She sets the syrup on the table and calls back, "Check the laundry room, on top of the dryer." Gavin appears a minute later, suit jacket draped over his arm, tie in hand, glasses slightly askew. He gives Marina a distracted kiss on the cheek, already scanning his phone for emails. "Thanks, hun. I've got an early meeting. Traffic's going to be a nightmare." "Drive safe," Marina says, brushing a crumb from his lapel. He squeezes her shoulder absently and is gone, leaving the faint scent of his cologne and the sound of the front door closing. The breakfast table is set, but the family's togetherness is fleeting, everyone absorbed in their own screens, their own world. Marina sits for a moment, hands curled around her coffee mug, watching her children eat in silence. The clock ticks. She wants to ask about their plans, their dreams, even just their day. But the answers are clipped, distracted, her questions blending with the soft hum of appliances. She gathers the empty plates, wipes syrup from the table, and watches as Leo slips on his backpack, headphones on, already grinning at a meme he's eager to share with friends. Cassidy pauses by the door, glances back at Marina, then quickly looks away. "Have a good day at school," Marina calls softly. Neither responds, already halfway down the walkway, shoes crunching on the damp driveway. Through the front window, Marina watches them disappear into the stream of kids heading to the bus stop. Cassidy joining a group of friends, Leo racing ahead with his skateboard. The street is alive as families emerge. A neighbor's dog barks, a jogger waves, car engines rumble to life. Marina's neighbor, Rachel Wu, walks by with her own daughter in tow, coffee in hand. She smiles at Marina through the glass, mouthing, "Hang in there," before heading down the sidewalk. The kitchen, once bustling, falls silent. Marina pours herself a fresh cup of coffee, the steam curling into the stillness. She leans against the counter, looking out at the backyard where the grass glistens with dew. For a moment, she allows herself to feel the weight of the quiet, a strange mix of relief and loneliness. She moves through the house methodically, straightening cushions, gathering laundry, making beds. Every corner tells a story. Leo's science project half finished on the desk, Cassidy's book stacked in careful towers, Gavin's half-read newspaper by the armchair. Marina touches each with care, as if her presence alone could shield her family from the chaos of the outside world. By noon, the clouds have started to gather, casting a pale gray light over the neighborhood. Marina sits at the kitchen table, scribbling out a grocery list, her phone buzzing occasionally with group texts from the PTA and reminders for Cassidy's dance rehearsal. She pauses, pen hovering, and wonders if anyone notices the small things. The perfectly folded towels, the favorite snacks restocked, the birthday cards tucked into lunchboxes weeks in advance. She doesn't do it for the recognition, she tells herself. Still, a quiet hope lingers. Maybe today, someone will say thanks, or even just notice. The afternoon passes in a blur of chores and errands. Marina stops at the local market, nodding to familiar faces, exchanging pleasantries with the cashier. She picks up Gavin's dry cleaning, texts Cassidy a reminder about her orthodontist appointment, and drops off a casserole at Rachel's house for a neighbor recovering from surgery. By 3 o'clock, rain has started to fall, a steady drizzle pattering against the roof, turning the street shiny and reflective. The school bus rumbles to a stop at the corner. Marina steps onto the porch, umbrella in hand, waving as Leo bounds off the bus, shoes splashing in puddles. Cassidy follows, hood up, earbuds still in, face unreadable. Inside, Leo vanishes to his room, door closing with a soft thud. Cassidy lingers in the kitchen, eyes scanning the fridge. "How was school?" Marina asks, trying to keep her tone light. "Fine," Cassidy replies, voice barely above a whisper. "Any homework tonight?" "Just a paper for English. I'll get it done." Marina hesitates, wanting to say more, but Cassidy turns away, heading upstairs. The hallway fills with the sound of her footsteps, then the click of her bedroom door. Evening settles in, the sky darkening to a deep blue. Gavin calls to say he'll be late. Another deadline, another set of drawings to review. Marina sets the table for 3, reheats leftovers, and tries to coax Leo into talking about his day. He's distracted, eyes glued to a video game, answering in monosyllables. After dinner, Marina cleans up alone, the clink of dishes echoing through the house. She wipes the counter, her reflection caught in the kitchen window, a woman who gives, and hopes it's enough. Later, as she folds laundry in the living room, voices drift down the hallway, Cassidy and Leo talking in Cassidy's room. Their words are muffled, laughter mixing with the sound of rain tapping against the glass. Marina smiles, comforted by the sound of her children together. But then a phrase catches her ear, a tone, a word she can't quite make out. She pauses, hands still, straining to listen. Cassidy's voice, sharper than usual. "She's just always..." The rest is swallowed by Leo's reply, an indistinct mumble followed by more laughter. Marina stands frozen, the warmth draining from her face. She tells herself she must have misheard, that it's nothing. But the uncertainty lingers, clinging to her like the damp chill of the evening. She finishes the laundry, moving slowly now, her mind circling the half-heard conversation. What did they say? Was it about her? Was it just teenage frustration? Or something deeper she's missed? As the night deepens, Marina sits alone in the softly lit living room, rain still tapping at the windows. She glances at family photos on the mantel, Cassidy's gap-toothed smile at age 6, Leo grinning with an armful of Halloween candy, Gavin's arms around them all. Each image is a snapshot of love, of effort, of moments she treasures. But tonight, doubt tugs at her heart. She wonders, do her children see her the way she hopes? Do they notice the 1,000 small acts she performs? Or do they take it all for granted? The question echoes in her mind, quiet but persistent. Out in the night, the neighborhood glows with porch lights and the soft hum of families settling in. Marina sits in the hush, her hands folded in her lap, staring into the dim space where her worries gather. She wants to believe her family appreciates her. She's always believed it, but now she isn't so sure. As the screen fades to black, Marina's voice returns, soft but clear. "Do you feel truly appreciated at home?" The story lingers, suspended in that question, and in the silence that follows. Marina Ellison stood at the edge of her kitchen counter, her hands resting on the cool granite as she watched the morning unfold through the window. The familiar chords of suburban life played outside, neighbors walking their dogs, the hum of a distant lawnmower, the occasional laughter of early rising children biking past. Inside, the house buzzed with the haphazard energy of another school day. Yet, beneath the rhythmic chaos, a faint ache lingered in Marina's chest. She replayed the muffled voices she'd overheard the night before, Cassidy's low murmur, Leo's restless reply. The words themselves had been indistinct, yet the tone was unmistakable, a blend of frustration and something sharper, maybe even resentment. Marina had brushed it aside then, telling herself it was just typical sibling bickering. But as she watched Cassidy push scrambled eggs around her plate that morning, barely glancing up from her phone, and Leo wolfing down toast while his eyes darted between his tablet and the clock, doubt crept back in. Gavin swept through the kitchen, suit jacket draped over one arm, coffee mug in the other. He kissed Marina's cheek absently, already half absorbed in his phone. "I'll be late tonight. There's an early meeting with the city planners," he said, barely pausing to meet her gaze. "That's fine," Marina replied, her voice gentle but distant. "Just don't skip lunch again." Gavin smiled, distracted. "You always remind me. I'll try." And with that, he was gone, the front door clicking softly behind him. Cassidy finally looked up, her expression unreadable. "Mom, where's my blue hoodie? I need it for school. And did you sign my math test?" Marina nodded. "It's in the laundry room. I'll grab it for you." She hesitated, watching Cassidy's fingers fly over her phone. "How's everything with your classes? If you need help—" "I'm fine, Mom. Really." Cassidy's tone was clipped, her eyes darting away. "I have a group chat for that." Leo piped up from the other end of the table, mouth full. "We're out of peanut butter. And you forgot to charge my Chromebook last night." Marina felt a familiar wave of inadequacy. Small slights, barely noticeable, but each one adding to the quiet weight she carried. She wanted to remind them of all she did, but the words caught in her throat. She busied herself instead, darting between laundry room and kitchen, gathering hoodies, checking homework folders, and plugging in the forgotten Chromebook. By the time the kids had gone, the house was eerily quiet. Marina stood amid the remnants of breakfast, crumbs, sticky plates, and abandoned math test. She pressed her palm to her chest, willing away the sting of invisibility. Later that morning, she bundled herself into a light jacket and stepped out into the neighborhood. The air was brisk, carrying the scent of wet grass and distant blossoms. As she walked along Oak Ridge Drive, she spotted Rachel Wu across the street, wrangling her toddler into a stroller. "Morning, Marina," Rachel called, waving. Her voice was bright, but her eyes were tired. "Hey, Rachel, want some company on your walk?" Marina offered, grateful for a reason to delay returning home. They fell into step beside each other, the stroller wheels crunching over the sidewalk. The park ahead was alive with activity, families playing catch, a group of retirees practicing Tai Chi, the distant clatter of a skateboard. "How's the crew this morning?" Rachel asked, nodding toward Marina's house. Marina hesitated, searching for the right words. "Busy, distracted. Sometimes I feel like I'm speaking a different language." She paused, glancing at Rachel. "Do you ever wonder if your family actually notices what you do?" Rachel barked a laugh, not unkindly. "All the time. My husband thinks I have a magic laundry fairy. The kids? They'd probably think dinner appears out of thin air if I let them." She sobered, her expression softening. "But I get it. It's different when you're home all day. Sometimes it feels like the more you do, the less anyone sees." Marina nodded, relief mingling with sadness. "I overheard the kids talking last night. I don't know. Something about the way they sounded. I just want them to know I'm trying." Rachel squeezed her arm. "You are trying. We all are. But being appreciated? That's a whole different mountain to climb." They walked in companionable silence for a while, the neighborhood unfolding around them. The park was a swirl of movement and color, toddlers chasing bubbles, teens clustered under the pavilion, an elderly couple walking their golden retriever. Marina watched them, wishing she could step outside her own story for a moment, just to see herself the way others did. A few blocks from home, Rachel stopped to adjust her son's jacket. "Listen, if you ever want to vent or just escape for a coffee, let me know. We have to stick together." "I might take you up on that," Marina said, managing a small smile. Back at home, the afternoon stretched before her, filled with chores and the low hum of worry. She wiped down the counters, straightened the living room, and folded laundry, Cassidy's blue hoodie on top of the pile. She hesitated before placing it on her daughter's bed, noticing the string of texts lighting up Cassidy's phone on the desk, group chat notifications, most from cousins and a few school friends. For a moment, Marina considered ignoring it. But the phone buzzed again, and a message preview flashed up. "Mom is being too much again, LOL." Marina's heart lurched. She set the hoodie down slowly, her breath catching. She knew she shouldn't look further. Privacy was important. But the single sentence echoed in her mind, sharper than she wanted to admit. She backed out of the room, closing the door gently behind her. In the hallway, she sagged against the wall, her mind racing. Was she really too much? Did her efforts come across as overbearing? A dozen memories surfaced, reminding Cassidy to eat breakfast, checking Leo's homework, organizing family dinners that ended with both kids on their phones. For the rest of the afternoon, Marina moved through the house as if in a fog. She tried to focus on her to-do list, but her thoughts circled endlessly. She remembered the way Cassidy had dismissed her that morning, the impatience in Leo's voice. She replayed the group chat message, dissecting every word. Was she overreacting? Reading too much into one offhand comment? By the time Gavin arrived home, The sky had shifted to a soft gray, the sun dipping behind the trees. He set his briefcase down and greeted her with a tired smile. "How was your day?" he asked, loosening his tie. Marina hesitated. "It was fine. Busy, as usual." She watched him move through the kitchen, pulling leftovers from the fridge. "Gavin, can I ask you something?" He glanced over, sensing her uncertainty. "Of course. Do you think I'm too much? With the kids, I mean? Am I overbearing?" Her voice trembled just enough for him to notice. Gavin crossed the room, setting his hands gently on her shoulders. "Marina, you're a great mom. Maybe you worry a little more than most, but that's not a bad thing. The kids are just being kids. They'll appreciate you someday, trust me." She searched his face for reassurance, but his words felt distant, practiced. "I just wish I knew how to reach them. Sometimes I feel like I'm invisible." Gavin kissed her forehead. "You're not invisible. They see you, even if they don't say it. Give them time." She nodded, but the ache remained. That evening, determined to bridge the growing gap, Marina decided to organize a sit-down family dinner. No screens, just conversation. She set the table with extra care, lighting a candle and placing fresh flowers in a small vase. The aroma of roasted chicken filled the house, mingling with the scent of baked bread. "Dinner's ready," she called, trying to sound upbeat. Cassidy appeared first, earbuds in, scrolling through her phone. She slid into her seat, barely glancing at the table. Leo followed, tapping away on his tablet. Marina reached over and gently pulled the device from his hands. "No screens at dinner, remember?" Leo rolled his eyes but complied, slumping in his chair. Gavin joined them last, setting his phone face down beside his plate. Marina served the food, searching for a way in. "So, how was everyone's day?" Cassidy shrugged. "It was fine. Nothing special." Leo stuffed a roll into his mouth. "We had a sub in science. He smelled like cheese." Gavin chuckled, but his eyes were distant, already drifting back toward his phone. Marina pressed on. "Cass, how's your group project going? Do you need help with anything?" Cassidy shook her head, her tone flat. "I'm good, Mom. I already told you." Marina's smile faltered. She turned to Leo. "Did you finish your book report?" He nodded, not meeting her eyes. "Yeah. I emailed it to my teacher." For a moment, silence hovered over the table, broken only by the clink of cutlery. Marina tried to fill the void with small talk, but each attempt landed flat. The kids' answers were clipped, their attention scattered. Even Gavin, usually her ally, seemed distant. The candle flickered between them, a small, hopeful light in the dull quiet. After dinner, Marina stood at the sink, her hands submerged in soapy water, replaying the meal in her mind. She felt like an outsider in her own family, her efforts invisible, her presence somehow too much and not enough all at once. She glanced out the window, watching the last light fade from the sky. Across the street, Rachel's house glowed with warmth, silhouettes moving in the kitchen. Marina wondered if Rachel felt this same ache, if every mother did, at some point. As she finished cleaning up, Cassidy appeared in the doorway, her expression guarded. "I'm going to Sarah's to study," she announced, already halfway out of the room. "Be home by 9, okay?" Marina called after her, but Cassidy was gone. Leo trailed in soon after, hovering awkwardly. "Can I have dessert?" Marina nodded, scooping a small bowl of ice cream and handing it to him. He took it silently, his eyes still glued to his tablet, and retreated to his room. The house felt impossibly large and empty. Marina stood in the kitchen, the echo of her family's voices ringing hollow in her ears. She wandered into the living room, sinking onto the sofa. She picked up her phone, scrolling through old photos, family vacations, birthday parties, candid shots of the kids laughing. Each image was a reminder of the connection she desperately missed. Her phone buzzed. A message from Rachel. "Hang in there. You're not alone." A small smile tugged at Marina's lips. Maybe she wasn't alone after all. Maybe there were others who felt this same invisible weight, this longing to be seen. She looked up, noticing the gentle glow of the streetlights outside, the world carrying on in its quiet, ordinary way. If you've ever felt misunderstood by your loved ones, or wondered if your efforts go unnoticed, you're definitely not alone. Hit subscribe and share your experience in the comments below. Let's support each other and keep this conversation going. As Marina sat in the quiet, she made a silent promise to herself. She wouldn't give up. Tomorrow, she'd try again. Maybe, just maybe, she'd find a way to break through. A fork clatters against a plate. It's the only sound in the dining room, where the Ellison family sits together for the first homemade dinner in weeks. The table, set with Marina's best effort, herbed roast chicken, garlic mashed potatoes, and a salad tossed with care, stands between them, a hopeful peace offering. Evening sunlight pours through the window, painting golden streaks across the oak table and the anxious knot in Marina's stomach. She glances at Gavin, hoping for a cue, a signal to help guide the meal forward, but he's absorbed in his phone, thumb flicking through work emails. Cassidy pokes at her food, earbuds still dangling from her neck, gaze drifting to the screen propped beside her plate. Leo, hunched over, scrolls on his tablet, oblivious to everything but the glowing pixels in his hand. Marina clears her throat, summoning her brightest smile. So, how was everyone's day? The question hovers, fragile, desperate. Cassidy shrugs, not looking up. Fine. Leo doesn't answer. Gavin, sensing the tension, sets his phone aside. He tries to bridge the gap. Hey, your mom made a great dinner. Let's put our screens away just for tonight, all right? Leo groans, fingers tightening around his tablet. But I'm in the middle of a game. Cassidy sighs, rolling her eyes. Dad, it's not a big deal. Marina's smile falters, her hands folding tightly in her lap. She tries again, softer this time. I thought maybe we could talk. Like we used to, remember? On Fridays, silence. It's as if her words slide off an invisible shield, unable to land. Cassidy glances up, her tone edged but weary. Mom, we're tired. Can't we just eat in peace? The clatter of forks resumes, the only punctuation in the awkward quiet. Marina's heart pounds, each beat echoing her growing dread. She pushes her food around, appetite gone. From the hallway, the hum of the dishwasher cycles on. Outside, a pair of teenagers bike past, laughter spilling in through the open window. Reminder of simpler days, of Cassidy's giggles and Leo's shrieks, when their world was smaller, and Marina was the sun around which they orbited. She closes her eyes for a moment, fighting back the sting. Then, Leo speaks, cutting through the silence. Why do you always have to make a big deal out of everything? The words hit with unexpected weight. Marina's head snaps up, startled. Cassidy, still not meeting her eyes, mutters, It's not like you have a real job anyway. The air leaves the room, swift, cold, final. Gavin's gaze shoots to his daughter, shock in his voice. Cassidy! But the damage is done. Marina's cheeks flush, her breath catches. She stands abruptly, her chair scraping against the hardwood floor, the sound sharp and final. I need a minute, she stammers, her voice trembling. Without waiting for a reply, she rushes toward the kitchen, the walls blurring as tears threaten to spill. The kitchen is empty, save for the steady tick of the clock and the soft clink of cooling pans. Marina grips the counter, knuckles white. She stares at her reflection in the window, her own eyes rimmed red, lips pressed tight in an effort not to sob. She breathes in, then out, shoulders shaking. How did we get here? She wonders. When did I become invisible? Footsteps approach, then halt in the doorway. Gavin stands there, uncertain. Marina, he says gently, I'm so sorry. They didn't mean... She shakes her head, swallowing. But they did, Gavin. That's exactly how they feel. He steps closer, attempting to rest his hand on her shoulder, but she steps away, hugging herself. I try so hard, she whispers, and it's like nothing matters. I thought... Her voice cracks. I thought they understood. Gavin's face softens, regret in his eyes. You do everything for us. Maybe I haven't said it enough. I'll talk to them. Marina nods, wiping her eyes. Please, I just need a little time alone. He lingers a moment, then leaves, the door swinging softly behind him. Outside, dusk deepens, the world painted in melancholy blues and grays. In the dining room, Cassidy and Leo sit in uneasy silence. Leo toys with a napkin, his earlier bravado faded. Cassidy stares at her plate, brow furrowed. Gavin returns, voice low but firm. We need to talk. Cassidy shrugs, eyes darting away. Leo sinks lower in his chair. What you both said to your mother? Gavin pauses, searching for the right words. It really hurt her. Leo fidgets, uneasy. Cassidy scowls. She's always there. She just wants things to be perfect, and it's overwhelming. I can't explain. Gavin nods. I get that it's a lot sometimes. But have you ever stopped to think what it's like for her? She does so much for all of us. Not just the chores, but caring, worrying, making sure we're safe and happy. She puts you first, every single day. Leo's voice is quiet, uncertain, but sometimes it feels like she's always watching, or asking questions, or making us do stuff. I miss when we just hung out. Cassidy's eyes fill with tears she refuses to let fall. I know she cares, Dad. I have so much going on. School is hard, my friends. Sometimes I just want space. And when she tries so hard, I feel guilty. I don't know how to talk to her without making it worse. Gavin's gaze softens. You're growing up. You want independence. That's normal. But think about her. She's not trying to control you. She just wants to feel needed, to connect. It's hard for her too. Leo looks up. Should we say sorry? Cassidy hesitates, biting her lip. I don't know what to say. Start with the truth, Gavin suggests. Tell her how you feel and listen to how she feels. Maybe you'll understand each other better. The siblings exchange nervous glances, the weight of realization settling in. Meanwhile, Marina sits at the edge of her bed, the house quieter than she's ever known it. She scrolls through old photos on her phone. Cassidy's gap-toothed grin at age 6. Leo's chubby toddler cheeks smeared with chocolate. Gavin and her on their wedding day, laughing in the rain. She lets the memories wash over her. Bittersweet. Her phone buzzes with a text from Rachel. Thinking of you. Here if you need to talk. Marina smiles faintly, grateful for even this small lifeline. She stands, smoothing her hair, composing herself. In the hallway, she hears Gavin's low murmur and the kids' hushed responses. She steels herself, returning to the living room, unsure what to expect. Cassidy and Leo look up as she enters, eyes wide and vulnerable. Gavin stands with them, silent support radiating from his posture. Cassidy takes a shaky breath. Mom, I'm sorry for what I said. I didn't mean it. I know you do so much, and sometimes I don't know how to handle everything. I take it out on you, and that's not fair. Leo nods, voice small. I miss when we did stuff together. I guess I forget how much you do for us. I'm sorry, Mom. Marina's heart aches, but something shifts. An opening, a chance. She sits, facing them, her voice unsteady but honest. I know you're all growing up. I want to give you space, but I also miss you. Being your mom is everything to me. It's my job, even if it doesn't look like a job to you. And sometimes I just need to feel appreciated. Not with big things, just a thank you, or a hug. Cassidy wipes her eyes, nodding. I'll try, Mom. I really will. Leo, emboldened, squeezes her hand. Me too. Gavin joins them, placing his hand atop theirs. We're lucky to have you, Marina. I am too. I should say it more. The room grows warmer, the tension dissolving into something softer, more hopeful. For the first time in weeks, Marina feels seen. Later that night, after the kids have gone to bed, Marina and Gavin sit on the porch. The sky is deep indigo, stars sparkling through breaks in the clouds. Marina leans against Gavin's shoulder, exhaustion and relief mingling in her chest. I kept thinking if I just did more, they'd notice, she says quietly. Gavin squeezes her hand. They did. They just didn't know how to say it. None of us did. A gentle breeze stirs, carrying the distant sound of laughter from down the street. Inside, the house is peaceful. No screens, no arguments, just the soft hum of healing. Marina closes her eyes, letting the night air fill her lungs. For the first time in a long while, she believes they'll find a way through, together. The payout, sharp and clear. It wasn't that her family didn't see her. They just didn't know how to show it. And now, finally, the walls are coming down. Marina sat alone at the edge of her bed, the quiet of the night wrapping around her like a heavy blanket. Her hands were clasped in her lap, knuckles white, the echo of Cassidy's words. It's not like you have a real job anyway, reverberating in her mind. Through the thin walls, she could hear the low hum of Gavin's voice, the soft creak of floorboards as Cassidy and Leo moved about their rooms. The house, usually so full of life, felt hollow in that moment. But as she stared at the faded photograph on her nightstand, Cassidy at 5, grinning with missing teeth, Leo in her arms, both sticky with jam from a picnic years ago, Marina realized something. This wasn't the first time she'd felt invisible. And yet, every morning, she found the strength to begin again. Her family, for all their flaws, was her world. But maybe, just maybe, it was time to let them see the effort behind the magic of their everyday lives. The next morning, Marina didn't reach for the coffee pot or the pancake mix. Instead, she waited, letting the house naturally wake itself. The scent of breakfast didn't drift through the air. There was no familiar clatter of lunchboxes being packed, no gentle prodding for lost sneakers or reminders about homework. Cassidy stumbled into the kitchen first, her hair a tangle, eyes heavy with sleep. She paused, confusion flickering across her face at the empty stovetop and cold counters. "Mom?" she called, voice uncertain, as if she'd stepped into a parallel universe. Leo followed, clutching his tablet, his usual morning energy dulled by the uncharacteristic silence. Gavin, tie askew, appeared next, glancing at his watch and then at his wife, who sat quietly at the kitchen table with a cup of tea and a book she hadn't touched in months. "Everything okay?" he asked, concern softening the lines around his eyes. Marina looked at each of them, warmth and vulnerability mingling in her gaze. "I thought today we could try something different," she said gently. "I realized I've been doing a lot for everyone, But maybe it's time you all saw what goes into our days. Cassidy shifted uncomfortably. Leo set his tablet down, sensing the change. For the first time in years, the family navigated the morning routine together. Cassidy gave making pancakes a try, burning the first round but laughing when Leo insisted the charred ones tasted like campfire. Gavin searched for his own missing keys, grumbling good-naturedly when he found them in the fridge. Leo packed his own lunch, ending up with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich slightly askew but made with pride. By the time the clock struck 8, the kitchen was a mess. Flour dusted across the counters, syrup pooled on the table, and dishes stacked high in the sink. But in the mayhem, something unexpected blossomed. Togetherness. There was laughter, a few hiccups, and a growing appreciation for the invisible threads that held their family life together. At school drop-off, Cassidy lingered by the car, her usual rush replaced by hesitation. "Mom?" she began, eyes fixed on her shoes. "I'm sorry about last night. I didn't mean what I said. It's just, sometimes it feels like you're everywhere, and I get overwhelmed. But," she looked up, voice small but sincere, "I know you do a lot. I just forget to say thank you." Marina's heart swelled. She pulled her daughter into a hug, squeezing gently. "Thank you for telling me, Cass. Growing up is hard. I'm figuring things out, too." Later that afternoon, Leo bounded into the kitchen, cheeks flushed from biking with friends. He dropped his backpack and wrapped his arms around Marina's waist in a rare, spontaneous hug. "Sorry for being a brat," he mumbled into her sweater. "I missed breakfast." "Yours is better." She laughed, really laughed, lifting him off the floor for a moment. "Next time, you're my sous chef, deal?" He grinned, nodding eagerly. That evening, as the sun dipped behind the fir trees and the neighborhood quieted, Marina set the table while Gavin ordered takeout. Over dinner, he cleared his throat. "I've been thinking about what happened," he said, glancing at Marina, Cassidy, and Leo in turn. "I take for granted everything you do, Marina. We all do. But that ends tonight. Family meeting every Sunday. We'll plan the week together, share chores, and make sure everyone's voice is heard. No more invisible work." Leo groaned. "Does that mean I have to do laundry?" Cassidy rolled her eyes, but a smile tugged at her lips. "Only if you want your socks to match," she teased. They all laughed, the heaviness of the previous night replaced by a sense of relief and unity. As dishes were cleared, Marina stepped onto the back porch, the sky streaked pink and gold. Rachel Wu, walking her dog across the street, waved from the sidewalk. Marina called out, "Coffee tomorrow?" Rachel grinned. "Wouldn't miss it." With a deep breath, Marina let herself feel the satisfaction of a day well lived. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. Her family had seen her, not just the clean clothes or hot meals, but the heart behind it all. Inside, Cassidy and Leo argued good-naturedly over a board game, Gavin humming as he finished a work email nearby. The messy, noisy, beautiful life Marina had built was suddenly, unmistakably, hers again. She thought back to her question. Have you ever wondered if your family really sees everything you do for them? Maybe, she realized, sometimes they don't, until you show them. And sometimes, all it takes is one honest conversation, a pause in the routine, and the courage to let your needs be seen. If you've ever felt invisible in your own home, or just wished someone understood how much you do, know you're not alone. Sometimes the hardest thing is speaking up, but that's how things change, for you and for those you love. Now I want to know, have you ever had a moment like Marina's? When did your family finally see you? Share your story in the comments below. I read everyone, and I'd love to hear from you. If this story resonated with you, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more real-life stories like this. And if you want to be the first to know when a new video drops, hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Because sometimes, the most powerful change starts with a simple confession and the courage to be heard. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.